Hey guys, it's Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth. I am back for your mid-January 2015 monthly tarot horoscope, and this is for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Libra. I always give Libra a hard time about the drama in their lives because there's so much drama always in Libra's life. And it's funny because the Libra challenge is to try to stay balanced despite all that. Okay, just even if there's all hell is breaking loose, Libra has to try to remain calm under the fire, you know. But inevitably, Libra will go off the handle at some point in its life, just because, you know, a person can only take so much. Even a Libra, you know, when the scales are tipped, they're really tipped. So anyways, I don't know why I'm going on about this, but I hope that you're enjoying your month of January, and I thank you guys so much for all of your comments and your emails. You guys are really awesome, and you know, I feel like I have the coolest job in the world. Honestly, I get up whatever time I want. I go to sleep whatever time I want. I make my own hours. I can stay in my pajamas all day if I want, and it's awesome. It's totally freaking awesome, and it's because of you guys. So, you know, thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. It's really cool. And so that's another reason why I'm a little behind in my videos, is because basically I've been very busy developing a new tarot deck, and also having a lot of private clients. So if you want a private reading from me, feel free to email me, elizabetholson31@gmail.com. Right now my hours are roughly from 11 a.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, and then basically Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday, you know, it's sort of like more like, I'd say 12 to 7 or 8, depending. So it's a little bit shorter on Sundays. But I'm very flexible with hours, you know. You know, if you need an earlier time, let me know. If you need a later time, let me know. Let me know what time zone you're in. Let me know what country you're in. That's always very helpful. Make sure to include a name if you email me, so that I know you're not a spammer or something. And you know, my rates right now are $75 for an hour. You know, so, and I am doing this special currently still for the year, where it's $250 for 2 hours. It's a 12-month overview. We go through each month and see what was kind of in store for you. So anyways, let's see what we've got for the second half of January. All right. I'm not vibing with this one, so I'm going to roll out another spread. It's like, I don't know, I have to feel like a buzz. It's a certain vibe. It's a certain connection to the cards and the way they kind of connect to each other, and it's sort of weird. If I can't see it, I can't see it. You know, it's strange that way for me. So I'm just gonna roll out another one and see what we got here again for you. And it's weird because I can't tell, like, when I look at them, it's not because I, like, you know, it's not because of specific cards that I see. It's more just like the messages have to be kind of clear, and I feel like this one is better. It's not like I see a negative card and I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell them that. No, it's more just like it has to vibe with me in a certain way. Okay, so this is, again, for everyone with their sun, moon, or ascendant in Libra. And to start off the bat, I feel like there's been a lot of frustration over your finances, okay? Whether you have money or you don't have money, I feel like there is a frustration because you got the miser card. This also may not be you. This may be your spouse. This may be your partner. This may be someone in your life that is just very greedy and wants to keep everything for themselves. And so that's the issue. Now, you know, I guess I just want to take a moment and say, because I think I had a client recently who was very offended by me saying that they were greedy. And it's not like I'm attacking your personality here, Libra. It's more just like I see this card as an opportunity for growth, as an opportunity to become more open, as an opportunity to be less closed, less, self-serving, self-focused. I think of this card as the Aries because the Aries needs to be self-focused in this life because in the past life it was Libra, and the world is kind of a game of opposites and a game of reflection, and the thing is that this, to me, if this is not you, Libra, this is your spouse or somebody who's an Aries. You could be dealing with an Aries person. And if you're dealing with the Aries person, that person, it doesn't mean they're bad. It's just that they have, the characteristic of being more self-focused, less us-focused, less we-focused, more me-focused. And it also is possible, Libra, that you're just struggling with your finances. But there's frustration over it because you got the reverse of the frustration card, which is the Seven of Wands. But, the funny thing about the Seven of Wands is that you can see if I go like this, it looks pretty much, it's the same image, just in reverse. It's basically the same pattern, okay, in the card. And so this, to me, is the frustration card. And the frustration in reverse means that you've made up maybe after a fight. I feel like there was a fight about money, Libra. I feel like this is strongly that you guys got into a fight. You with somebody got into a heated fight about money. And whether it was you that was saying, whether it was your spouse accusing you of being selfish or whether you were accusing your spouse of being selfish, doesn't matter. I feel like there was this argument about money and like a blowout, okay? And the Seven of Wands in reverse is making up after a fight. It's actually starting to talk again and negotiate and doing it in a very peaceful, harmonious, Libran type way, okay? But at one point, not that very long ago, this card is, it's a frustration card. And that kind of frustration and tension is usually because of a fight or because of an argument, okay? So that's kind of like the biggest issue that you've had. That's the biggest thing that's going on. If it's just that you're struggling financially and there's somebody in your life that maybe you're talking to again, it's maybe a little bit more mild than what I am saying about this argument, the blowout. Maybe it's, you're just, somebody called you, or texted you or something and you weren't expecting it. That's kind of what's crossing you. If you're not married or if you don't have a spouse or anything like that. The foundation card is you have, the words that want to come out of my mouth are a deceased loved one around you. Okay. Someone in spirit that's looking out for you. This typically is the God card, but I feel like there's a deceased loved one around you that really, really loves you and wants you to know that they're there for you. Let me see what this owl says. What are the messages, owl? The owl's talking about holding your tongue and waiting for the right moment to speak. Air signs have a tendency to be very honest, okay? Librans are no exception. They will say what's on their mind, and they don't care who's around or who's listening. And sometimes if it's in a public place, they're like they can draw attention by really just saying something that's on their mind that may be really inappropriate for that time, okay, or for those people, you know? So Librans have a tendency to do this. It's not like they're consciously aware of it. I feel like they just say what they're thinking and they don't really care about the repercussions. You know, Librans tend to be they can be very explicit when they want to be, okay? They can be very gracious and kind when they want to be, but they can also be very explicit and very inappropriate. And the more you tell Libra, you know, shh, don't say that, don't say it. They're like, what? I'm going to say what I want to say. And boom, there they go. They say exactly what they want, you know. You can't tell Libra to shut up. You know, that's the thing. Libras love to talk. Libras need to talk. And you can't tell a Libra to be quiet because a Libra has a difficult time understanding tact. And they're very gracious, but they lack tact at times when it comes to what comes out of their mouth, okay? So I think that that's the message. You know, this is the foundation. So maybe, you know, there were some maybe you had some social obligations or some things that went on that instigated this issue with your partner, or maybe, you know, I still feel like there's an argument that's gone on between you and your partner, you and somebody else, that, you know, Libra, you said some things came out of your mouth and they were very hurtful. And it was a timing thing, and it was very probably embarrassing for the other person. I feel like maybe this happened in a restaurant, or maybe this happened out in public somewhere. And maybe this was a public fight, you know, where it was embarrassing. Maybe you embarrassed someone, you know, in front of other people. For some reason, I'm seeing that. I don't know why I'm going on about it, but generally that's, you know, when I go on about something it's a strong issue, it's a strong message. So just Libra, keep it in the back of your mind that if you did say something, you know, realize that maybe it wasn't done at the right time or in the right place. It's very Real Housewives here. This is where the drama gets good, okay? You know, there's a bunch of episodes about, you know, the Real Housewives of, I think, was it the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills now? Where they were talking about, it's not the time or the place. It's not the time or the place to do this, da-da-da-da-da. And they kept saying that. And I think, Libra, you should take a page out of the Real Housewives book and be like, okay, maybe it wasn't the time or the place to have that discussion. That's kind of how I'm feeling for you. In the recent past, you have the Emperor, okay? Because it's in the past, my feeling is that, and you have the source, like you have the God, and you have the Emperor, father figures here. You have there's a strong male presence, Libra, that's in this spread. Very strong male presence. Now, whether your father's alive or whether he's passed away, it could be that it's your father that's coming through as far as the deceased loved one that's around you. Could be. Very strongly. The thing about the Emperor is it's a card that blocks, okay? And it's a very, very strong no card. Very strong. It's really about how you're going through life, doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop-de-doop, and you want something. But God says, no, that's not what's best for you, Beth. And, you know, or, you know, your name, whatever your name is. And, you know, doesn't allow it to happen for whatever reason. You don't get what you want. And it's sort of just like, something comes up where you don't get to XYZ place, or you don't see an XYZ person. There's timing issues with this card. Things happen in unexpected. Things happen in the time, happening in a different time than you expect, in a different way than you expect. So, for instance, let's just say you were applying for a job, but you really wanted that job, and you didn't get it. Maybe you thought you were going to get it, but at the last minute you didn't get it. And that's like God saying, it's not the right time. Maybe it's not the right time. And maybe this kind of job, it's like God's like saying, well, we understand, okay, this is the job that you really want, but there's something better. And so we're gonna have you keep pushing for that something better rather than just giving you this. And you're kind of like, well, what the hell, you're just like, oh, I really need a job, God. I really need to pay my bills. Like, why would you take this away from me? Why would this happen? And it's, I'm getting that part of the reason is karma, but the other part of the reason is that there's something better. So if it is a job, then that's why. If it's not a job, and maybe like, I feel like someone's doing like Broadway, or an actor or an actress, let me know, message me, tell me if you are. So like auditioning for something. I don't know why I'm getting like somebody's auditioning for like a play. And you didn't get the part. Well, maybe maybe you'll get it down the line, maybe some way, somehow they'll go back and be like, you know what, this person is not what we thought, the one that they decided on. Let's call so-and-so because you were the runner-up, So it's like, I feel like timing, you may get it after all, And I'm kind of getting a tingle on that, so I feel like you're going to get it after all. It's just going to be later down the line. So in the meantime, I would say, like, in the meantime, while God is doing his thing and creating havoc in our lives, sorry guys, creating this havoc and this stress and this frustration, because at one point there was frustration over your finances, and you're trying to get ahead, and you're trying to make some, headway, and it's like, seems to me like you've really been in what I call a cluster. You've got like a brick / cluster negativity in the recent past. Recently things have been very stressful. So first 2 weeks of January, stress, unexpectedly. And Libras, like I said, can only handle so much before they blow, So I would say that's what's going on. But the thing is I also feel like it's career. See, again, career related, because you've got this position of your attitude. Where are you going? What are you doing? What do you want? You come to the end of that road, and you're saying to yourself, what the hell am I going to do with my life? Where the hell am I supposed to go? And I go back to my original comment about this card, about how it's about switching careers or starting your own business. And in the meantime, it's about taking a job that doing something that you love to do, but it may not pay that much, or doing something that maybe you don't love to do, but does pay the bills. Some things that sometimes you have to do things temporarily. It's not like, because Libras are just like all or nothing, And then, they may be offered several jobs, but not take it, and then complain that they don't have money, So you have to, Libra, make the decision. This is indecisiveness, and you've gotten this before for me, so it's not unusual for you to get this card. It's indecision. Not being really sure about where you're going. Not being really sure if you should take a certain job, or not being really sure if you should move, or not being really sure if you should be in that relationship that you're in. And you don't really know what to do. And the thing is you've got okay, so going into the future here, you've got two very strong cards that I think will help you as far as like figuring this out. So in the immediate future, you've got the seed of potential, okay? Seed of potential, which is dreaming of comfort and stability, material security, and I think of this as the student going back to school, okay? If you need to, like, you know, up the ante on your job skills or your computer skills, you know, I usually recommend going to the Apple store, okay, Mac store. They have them all across the country, and learning how to use a Mac basically for free. If you have a Mac, just take it in and be like, I want to sit here and do these. They have these like these little group kind of classes that you can do, and it's free. So why not go in and do that? If you know you haven't been online and looked at jobs, you need to look at jobs. I feel like that's strongly coming through. Even if you already have like a chosen career, you need to go online and look to see what kind of careers are out there. Maybe there's something else that you haven't explored yet. Maybe it's something that you need to challenge yourself to do. Maybe it's not even about making the switch. It's just doing something, you know? Or maybe it's doing something else. Or maybe it's furthering your education or getting a certificate in some way. There's like that aspect of it that there's an element of completion that needs to kind of happen. There's maybe some loose ends, things that need to be tied up in order for you to either be in the job that you want or the career that you want, and you're like, maybe you're still working in a restaurant job, or maybe you're just doing something that pays the bills and you want to get to that next step, but you're not there yet. I feel like you need to study. I think you need to study, you need to research. You and Taurus have these issues. You're different than Taurus. You both need to make decisions, okay? It's hard for Taurus to make the decision because Taurus likes to do things. And if it can't do something, it gets frustrated and it's just like, why can't I do this, you know? And sometimes it's not the right thing. And sometimes it's not the right time. So Taurus needs to like research and figure it out. Libra, you might do a lot of research. Maybe you do too much research. Maybe you just don't make up your mind. That's the problem. You just don't do it. You're lazy about it. I'm not saying Libras are lazy because I think someone said that, well, Libras aren't lazy, they're hardworking and blah, blah, blah. I get that, okay? What I'm saying here is that you need to want to do something. If you don't want to do it, you won't do it. That's the Libra thing. It's all in your head. You need to make up your mind that you want to do something and go do it. Make the decision and go do it. Or, you know, because this is you holding yourself back. This is you not taking that next step because you're undecided, because you haven't made up your mind that you want to do it. You have to feel good and ready to do it, and you're not right now, you know, and going in the future, this issue about finance, this issue about the frustration, this issue about not getting what you want, you need to just revamp. You need to rethink things and be like, okay, well, I didn't get what I wanted here, and I'm not sure what I want to do, but I need to make sure that I need to become sure. And how do you do that? Well, you find something that you really want to do and do it. You know? And the thing is, Libras have very pie in the sky dreams, okay? It's like if a Libra can't do, and there's a certain level of perfectionism too. If it's not perfect or it's not done perfectly, a Libra will just give up. Not give up, I shouldn't say give up, get frustrated because it's not done perfectly. So it's like, I feel like some of you Libras are like, you want to have an amazing career, but it has to be perfect. It has to be where it has to be under the perfect circumstances or with the perfect people or the perfect place or the perfect amount of money. And nothing in life is that perfect. Okay. Don't keep saying no to things when if it's close to perfect, take it. Okay. Libras in a way have to settle at some point for imperfection because, like a friend of mine told me recently, there is perfection in imperfection. So, and the other thing that's coming in that kind of connects up with this school is a teacher. So, teaching kids, Libra, if you make a naturally good professor, you make a naturally good teacher. I feel strongly that maybe this is a career option for you: teaching, studying, writing, reading. This is the library. You go to somebody and you say, this is a Hierophant here, and this is somebody going to somebody else for advice. Talking to someone like me, like a psychic, getting counseling, getting, you might be a counselor. Maybe you're trying to get like your hours done for your counseling certificate or something, or license. I don't know. And it's not finished yet. You still need to do something with your time, even though that's not finished. And you need to talk to, I feel like this is a teacher of some sort. You need to get in touch with somebody who can kind of walk you through what it is that you need to do. To me, this is a student, this is teacher. So this is school. This is what the universe is really saying. They're saying you need to look at school. You need to either go back to school or get an additional certificate or do some studying, do some research, ask people. Be like, okay, I really want to make my own Jell-O business. I don't know why I got that, but I should do that, shouldn't I? I should make my own Jell-O business. You have a great idea for some crazy Jell-O, okay? And you're like, you want to start your own Jell-O business. Talk to somebody else who's in the Jell-O business. I don't know who he is or who would be, but call up some companies and be like, I want to start my own Jell-O business. How do I do this? I feel like strongly some of you are counselors. That's the thing. Some of you are counselors. And so, I feel like you're giving away a lot of your energy to people. And you want to be careful about how much energy you give away. I feel like there's some marketing that you need to do and or some advertising and or some... I'm getting that you're doing a lot for free. And you need to not stop doing that, but like be more firm about saying, this is how much I charge and this is when I'm available, and set a boundary for yourself there. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but that's just my feeling. It's like you're not really, like you would be making more money if you set more boundaries for yourself. If you respected yourself more and your abilities more. You're looking for answers, though, too. You're at this point, especially female Libras, you're at this point where you're looking for answers. You're going to like every psychic on the block and you're like, what do I need to do with my life? What am I supposed to be doing? Tell me now. And I always tell people, this is the hard part about this. Because, I've done comparison spreads, where, we compare multiple different, job opportunities or life paths or whatever. And ultimately, you need to I hate it when people say figure it out on your own, but you kind of have to have an idea about who you are in the world And if you don't have an idea of that, then you need to spend some time alone. And you need to be like, okay, what are my gifts? What are my skills? What are my abilities? What am I naturally good at? You know, if you're a people person, that's it. If you love to talk, that's it. If you love to cook, that's it. I mean, it's just, I feel like the answers are all there and you already know those answers. You just need to sort of implement them in a way that is practical and makes sense for you. This to me is also getting the phone call. This is also, it's interesting that I was talking about how God kind of said, no, it's not going to happen. And then this is the phone call coming in saying, yes, it is going to happen. So getting that important call regarding a job or something, an opportunity, you're going to get the phone call, okay? An email. It may not be a phone call because nobody calls these days, but it may be an email, it may be a text, it may be someone getting in touch with you that you weren't expecting. And to me, that's really positive. Now, the problem, the biggest problem with this reading is that, Libra, you are, because you're undecided about your career, you are blocked from actually having this financial prosperity. You're blocked from having an increase in money, an increase in wealth. You're blocking what I can see as your blessings. So it's you have to sort of look at yourself and say, okay, I'm the one causing this issue. I'm the one and take responsibility, because Libra has a hard time. They're very good at blaming other people. I'm the one that is causing this holdup in my life. I am the one that's causing this lack of abundance. To put it in other, just plain layman's terms, lack of abundance. There's a lack of abundance right now, and there would be more if you weren't indecisive. If you made up your mind that you were going to go after what you wanted, that you said, okay, this is what I choose to do. This is the way I choose to go. This is my path. And just did it. And the way, and I pulled another card to see if you did that, then you would have the Hermit card. And the Hermit card is light at the end of the tunnel. Getting through that tunnel and coming out the other side and reaching the abundance, reaching for the abundance, having the abundance, being lucky and fortunate and blessed. Things to say, I am blessed. I have abundance. I am prosperity. I am love. I am a giant gold coin. There is like this, I think I've talked about it before. In the old Davy Crockett movie, the Yeller Gold. You're Yeller Gold. You're gold. You're golden. I am gold. I am golden. I am cherished. I am a giant gold coffer filled with coins. If you do that, then you sort of, again, it's the opposite of being the miser. It's the opposite. To me, you want to be here, but right now you're here. Right now, no matter how much you make, it's not enough. And you want to be here where you have enough. You're not worried about money. You're not worried about spending money. You're not worried about finances. But the thing about Libra, again, the pie in the sky. You're looking at big amounts of money. Like, how do I say this? It's sort of like you're the one that wants to have the private yacht and the private jet and a giant closet with beautiful shoes. And, the thing is, hang on just one second. And the thing is that, in order to have all that, you need money. And for Libra, you're just going to keep on pining after the money to have all that stuff. And it won't be enough. It'll never be enough to fulfill your biggest desires, your biggest dreams, your biggest pie in the sky notions of perfection, of whatever that perfection is. So you need to stop thinking like, you don't have enough to fulfill your dreams, and so you got to keep working more and more and more to get it, and be satisfied with what you have, and know that you're abundant now, and know that it's about, to get to this point, you need to do some self-reflection, which is this Hermit card. You need to go into the cave and say, okay, who am I? What are my skills? What do I want to do? And do it. And then go out of the cave again and back into the world. And if you do that, then you will find the abundance anyways. And then, so like, you won't be blocked from it. You'll be able to achieve it. You'll be able to actually achieve it and actually have it. And that's what you ultimately want. But if you go through life striving, it's never enough, then you're not going to get to the abundance, because you're sending out the wrong message to the universe saying it's not enough, nothing that I do is good enough, I can't for some reason get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow like everybody else. And the thing is like, the people that have the abundance are people that know where the true wealth is. They know that they are gold. They know that they cherish themselves, and they cherish life, and they cherish the people around them, and they cherish I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. They cherish the good stuff in life. So I think, Libra, it's important for you to just take a step back and say, okay, what am I doing? What do I want to do? I am abundant now. You have abundance now. It's not waiting at the end of the rainbow. It's inside. It's already there. Your heart is gold. And I feel like the people that need to hear that, the people that are watching that need to hear that. They don't understand that their heart is gold. They think that they need to buy it some way. They think it's not good enough. They think that all that they do is not good enough, and it is. And it's just important to remember that. It's important to keep that in mind when you're going through all this stuff, and you're struggling, and you need to value yourself. You need to value the stuff on the inside, the heart of gold. You need to value that. And you may not get that from others. You may feel like others, again, just don't see it. But I can assure you that there are people in your life that do see it. And I feel like humanity has a hard time cherishing others, which is another word for loving others. If it was supposed to be an easy experience here, then everybody would just love others. But it's supposed to be challenging, because we're learning, and because we're learning, we have to sometimes learn the hard way. And the hard way is understanding that that we're not as loving as we should be, and there's people that don't cherish us because they're not as loving as they should be. But if we're as loving as we should be, then it's a good example for others, and then others will follow. So I feel like that's the message here. The other thing is what's crowning you right now. Talking about love and sex and passion. You got the 10 of Cups, which I think of as a sex card. And Libras are sexy. And this is what's crowning you right now. If, this is chemistry with somebody. You may have some strong chemistry With I feel like with a water sign, Pisces. Libras kind of tend to have chemistry with a lot of people, okay? Because they have that soothing, very kind of relaxed vibe when they're not going crazy. And to me, this is the beginning of a relationship, the beginning of a romance. This is love, romance, and happiness. This is can also be like a brief romance or brief fling or something that's going on. My feeling is it is kind of brief because it doesn't kind of carry through to the end of the month. It doesn't feel like it's going to carry through, although it might. Message me and let me know if it does. Okay, so like at the end of January, send me a message, say, hey, I met this guy or I met this girl, and it did carry through, and we are in a relationship now. Feels like it's just sort of like, you went out, you found somebody to hook up with, and you hooked up with them. That's the feeling. That's the kind of feeling. And maybe you needed it. Maybe you needed to just kind of let loose a little bit, Libra. The thing is if you... Okay, so when it comes to like this reading, I feel like it's either one or the other. If you're single, then you have financial frustrations and you have maybe career questions and career issues. You may have currently, or even you may have a kind of brief fling or like one night hot, passionate moment with someone. And if you're with someone, you're together with someone, you got into an argument about your finances, maybe your spouse, and it seems like your career is kind of like dwindling. There's these questions about where you're supposed to go with your career, where you're supposed to take your life. And the thing is my suggestion for you is if you have a career and it's kind of just like died down or dwindled, you need to re-examine what you're doing as far as marketing, really, really examine what you're doing as far as setting your boundaries and not giving your services away for free. If you are young and you're confused about what you're supposed to be doing, I feel like you need to go back to school. You need to finish school. You need to get a degree or certificate or something like that. In the meantime, you might meet someone and have a hot moment with them. And if it carries on, let me know. So that's it for Libra, and I don't have any further messages. I think that's a great place to leave off, so I'm just going to end there. This is kind of a long-winded video, and I'm sorry I got emotional, but I just I feel like sometimes you guys aren't appreciated, and just so you know, I do appreciate you, Libra, and yeah, you guys are great. So thank you so much. I send you big hugs, big kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Okay, take care.